So I had the privilege of living in a third world country where for some reason Look Back aired early. And I thought to myself, why not make the earliest review possible? Like how IGN would. But way more credible because I have 500 subscribers. Look Back is written by the great Fujimoto Tatsuki, the dude who wrote Chainsaw Man. Now, this movie is clearly a Fujimoto work. The artwork makes that super apparent. The characters in Look Back look very similar to Chainsaw Man or his previous work, Goodbye Eri. They look like they're having withdrawals from heroin. Now, I'm not saying that having withdrawals from heroin is a good starter pack for an anime character to look, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. I personally, honestly, if I had to choose, I love how Fujimoto draws his anime characters. Another classic Fujimoto style is to have these super artistic and symbolic wide panels that honestly the movie does really, really well. There are also these typical Fujimoto expressions, these ultra realistic and super extreme reactions that are perfected in Chainsaw Man and appears in the movie. Far less, but it is there in Look Back. Oshiyama Kiyotaka, the director of Look Back, did well adapting a Fujimoto manga. Simply put it, Look Back looks good. Maybe it's because the movie is a bit short so that every scene gets put in a little bit more care in them. But when it comes to the visuals, there's not really much to complain about. I can't say the same about the pacing though. When I was in film school, right, before I decided that was a terrible idea, just because I just didn't have the talent and, well, it's just a terrible idea in general. There's the one thing they taught me that sort of like stayed with me for the longest time. It's to simply just not write montages. I understand that montages work, and sometimes they're fun. And hell, the montages in Look Back look pretty good. I always thought that it's better to just write out a scene that portrays the information that you want it to, than to just write a montage. This show, for a film that is less than an hour, has like 3 to 4 montages. That's like a montage every 15 minutes. The story definitely had enough momentum to be a 1.5 or even a 2-hour length film. Maybe the one shot in itself didn't have enough content to make that type of film, but it definitely had enough room to make more anime original scenes here. Okay, so from here on onwards, just big spoiler warning. I tried, but it's hard to make a review on such a condensed movie without talking about the whole thing. So if you care for such things, I suggest stopping watching this video. But realistically speaking, it's adapting a one-shot manga, so there's not really much to spoil here. So after experiencing 3 works of Fujimoto's now, I'm not shocked if that dude one day comes out and says that he's autistic. Because the way he draws is so spectacular, right? That you can imagine that only a retard could make such drawing. But sadly, he also writes like someone who has Down syndrome. The show starts off pretending to be a biopic of Fujimoto's life. We follow these 2 girls. Fujino, who writes 4-koma mangas for her elementary newspaper. The way she writes is similar to how Fujimoto would write. And we follow this other girl, Kiyomoto, who draws the way Fujimoto would draw. One goes to art school, the way Fujimoto does, and the other one starts this manga called
Shark Kick
that looks eerily similar to Chainsaw Man. If you didn't get it, these 2 characters meant to represent 2 sides of Fujimoto. For fuck's sake, both of their names combined would be Fujimoto. I even make errors in writing the script because of how nail on that shit is. I thought that this was going to be a wholesome, friendship-themed story between 2 girls and maybe some theological difference which leads into some friendship drama, right? But some part of me knew that Fujimoto does not have the capacity or simply just does not want to write that type of story. His autism at some point has to kick in and ruin the plot. When I was watching this, I genuinely was hoping and praying that this was just going to be a wholesome friendship-themed movie with a little bit of drama on the side. When I saw Kiyomoto got killed by some random dude with a pickaxe, I thought to myself, of course that's what happened. I wasn't even shocked anymore. Fujimoto just likes killing off well-liked characters. I guess that's just what he does. He simply does not have the capacity to keep them alive. They had to die because that's the only way Fujimoto could expand a goddamn plot. The second half of the movie is about this door that could travel back through time, which makes two different timelines, right? One timeline where Kyomoto gets killed by a pickaxe murderer, and the other timeline where she doesn't. Now, I sort of wish that we could see that other timeline a little bit more. I also didn't like the fact that in the end, the, right path for Kiyomoto's survival is for her to be a hikikomori throughout her childhood and not make friends throughout her elementary school life. Because if she would, some random pickaxe dude is just gonna kill her just cuz. That being said, was the plot of Look Back bad? No. Was the bit with Fujino raiding Shark
kick
in Kiyomoto's room fun and, sad? Got me a little emotional. Yes, of course it did. I'm human after all. The plot is good, but it had potential to be so much more than that. The story could have been way more emotional. And hell, it could have been a longer movie in general. But it took a different path. It took a Fujimoto path. Which, props to him, right? He's a successful manga artist and he doesn't need to take this from some dude who has 500 subscribers. But, man, I thought that this plot could have been way more than that.